Yeah. We ready to get into it. How everybody doing today? Um, yeah, let's just get to it. I got an order. I don't want to waste time.
Cody Rhodes, Jade Cargill, and now Penta, or whatever new name he may have in WWE. These are just some names who left AEW and got a warm reception in WWE. While they joined WWE, there have been other talents who ventured into other promotions like TNA Wrestling after leaving All Elite Wrestling, exploring new opportunities in the wrestling world where talent is king. In 2024, several wrestlers parted ways with the company, and today we're going to talk about it. So let's get started. Who left All Elite Wrestling? Where are they now? And what are they up to? This is Sports Key to Wrestling. I'm Kevin Kellum. Let us know what you think of the current landscape of pro wrestling. If you were running a promotion, who are the top 5 talents you would have to sign? Let us know in the comments below. Let's begin with Andrade. At World's End 2023, the big pay-per-view event, Andrade faced Miro in what turned out to be his final match with AEW. Following this event, Tony Khan announced that Andrade's contract would expire on January 1st, 2024, just a few days later. And on New Year's Day, Andrade was officially removed from AEW's roster page, confirming his departure. He joined AEW in 2021 and was part of notable feuds with stars like Cody Rhodes and Matt Hardy. However, he chose not to renew his contract, ending his tenure with the promotion in 2024. Shortly after, Andrade made his surprise return to WWE, entering the Royal Rumble match, making a grand comeback. The formerly masked luchador, who followed his family's legacy in pro wrestling, previously had success in WWE, but felt underutilized there. Some felt he was also underutilized in AEW, though he had noteworthy matches with big names. It was also worth noting that backstage, conflicts were clear. A reported confrontation with fellow wrestler Sammy Guevara led to him being suspended. Wrestling Observer's Dave Meltzer added insight at the time, claiming that Andrade was trying to get fired in the entire controversial scenario, but that has never been confirmed by any sources involved publicly. Another wrestler who left AEW in 2024 is Santana. He debuted with the company and his tag team partner Ortiz in 2019, coming off a whole bunch of hype after a strong run in TNA Wrestling, and was prominently featured in AEW's early days. Santana joined Chris Jericho's Inner Circle during the inaugural episode of Dynamite, becoming a part of several key storylines. His association with Jericho elevated him, culminating in a breakup of the faction and a feud with Jericho in 2022. He suffered an unfortunate knee injury inside the Blood and Guts cage match at the conclusion of the Inner Circle story that would put him on the shelf for a year. In 2023, he would return briefly at the All In Historic Stadium event, participate in a wild, hardcore team battle match, but would not be featured prominently as a solo superstar, and there was reported tension between him and his former tag team partner Ortiz. He claimed in a recent interview with Chris Van Vliet that he made the decision to leave AEW before the extended injury rehab, and he no longer aspired to be a tag team performer. In March of 2024, his profile was removed from AEW's official website, marking his end of his nearly 5-year stint with the promotion. He's since returned to TNA Wrestling and has scored several pay-per-view wins as a solo superstar. Matt Hardy, who's always been able to reinvent himself, also departed AEW in 2024. He joined the promotion in 2020 in the middle of the pandemic, a challenging time in general, and he had a wild, noteworthy program with the upstart Sammy Guevara getting seriously injured live on TV at the All Out pay-per-view in a chaotic brawl. Hardy was able to come back from it. During his run, he played various roles and characters from his past, such as Broken Matt, Big Money Matt, and even reformed the Hardy Boys with Jeff Hardy, his brother, when he became All Elite in 2022 after a run in WWE. The Hardys together in AEW, the dream match possibilities were all there against the Young Bucks and other teams, but they simply didn't materialize as expected, and injuries held up their momentum. Matt also grew frustrated with how he and his brother were utilized in AEW following a DUI-related suspension for his brother, who has since regained his health. On his Extreme Life podcast, Hardy stated in December 2023 his outright dissatisfaction with the Hardys' current standing at the time in All Elite, saying, I'll say just creatively, just the way we've been utilized like the last 4 months, it's been very frustrating. Hardy decided to leave AEW as a free agent in April 2024. Following this, he made his return to TNA Wrestling and even fought for the TNA World Championship against Moose. As we mentioned, Jeff Hardy was also in All Elite Wrestling, leaving the company in 2024 as well. He joined the company in 2022, reuniting with his brother to form their soon-to-be Hall of Fame tag team. But that reunion in All Elite was short-lived, with a lot of expectations for them to have dream matches. One was booked against the Young Bucks at Double or Nothing, where unfortunately, Jeff suffered a concussion. Jeff was also suspended for being arrested for a DUI, as we earlier mentioned, and that had conflicts and influenced how the Hardys would be used moving forward. He came back, tried to recapture his momentum, but was unfortunately injured in a match with Sammy Guevara and left the company when his contract expired in June of 2024. He then rejoined his brother in TNA, reforming the Hardy Boys once again. Together, they recaptured the TNA World Tag Team Championships, a title they still hold to this day. Jora Joel is another name on the list of AEW departures in 2024. After spending 3 years with the company, Joel's time in AEW was primarily spent on the undercard with limited opportunities to shine in a prominent role. On April 1st, he was released from his contract. Since then, the former Punjab-based gold medal-winning bodybuilder has been active on the independent circuit, performing in smaller, lesser-known promotions, but still out there, bumping and feeding. All Ego Ethan Page also left All Elite in 2024. When he joined the company in 2021, he was seen as someone who had a lot of potential, coming off a breakout time in TNA and having an undeniable following online that reminded a lot of people of Zack Ryder's time in WWE in the early 2010s. He was someone who was seen as a maverick who could really move the needle in AEW. He debuted in a big multi-man ladder match to much acclaim. He formed a tag team with Scorpio Sky, and was also involved in multiple title matches, including a World Championship one against MJF. Despite all of his efforts, though, Page really managed to not capture the attention of the AEW audience. He left the company in mid-2024 and went to WWE NXT, where he quickly won the NXT Championship from Trick Williams, establishing himself as the top villain on WWE's third brand. Although he later dropped the title back to Williams, Page has remained a prominent figure in NXT, consistently featured in key storylines and matches, and has helped the company as they expanded their American television presence on the CW. He even recently shared the screen with The Rock. Another wrestler who departed AEW in 2024 was Jake Hager. The former WWE World Champion joined AEW in their inaugural episode of Dynamite, aligning himself with Chris Jericho and forming the Inner Circle. He remained with Jericho for a majority of his career in the company. He fought for the AEW World title against Jon Moxley in 2020, which can be attributed to his biggest accomplishment in the company. On May 28th, it was reported that Hager's contract had expired and he chose not to re-sign with AEW. The former collegiate wrestling star has now expressed an interest in possibly transitioning into a wrestling broadcaster role and has stayed active on the independent wrestling scene. The next name is Parker Bordeaux. At one point, people dubbed him the next Brock Lesnar because he looks like Brock Lesnar, and that's about all they knew about this college football breakout. He had a short run with WWE and Major League Wrestling and joined AEW in July of 2022. He aligned himself with Swerve Strickland and his Mogul affiliate stable. However, his impact in the company was not that substantial, and in April of 2024, he was out, released from his AEW contract. He is currently performing for Lucha Libre AAA worldwide. CJ Perry also left AEW, formerly known as the Ravishing Russian Lana to WWE fans. Perry joined AEW to be with her then husband Miro in 2023, but cracks quickly formed in their on-screen relationship, and it was announced soon after that they were no longer in a real-life relationship. She started managing Andrade, but that alliance didn't go anywhere. Amid her real-life separation from Miro, Perry decided to part ways with All Elite and still remains active on red carpet events, various different projects around the world, and still has 3.9 million followers on Instagram. Pretty sure she's figuring out a business venture somewhere that we don't know about just yet. The next wrestler is Gravity. Wrestling just 7 matches in AEW, Gravity was released from AEW.
Alright, they talk about Gravity. I think Mark Henry, Arn Anderson, and anybody else that matters. Penta. Um. Okay, we all know where the rest of them went. We're gonna get